entrepreneurship major from Miami, Florida, and a little bit of background on my ethnicity. I'm half Colombian and half Dominican, and I also identify as an Afro-Latina. And with me is my vice president, Kenisha Shulman. I always mispronounce her last name, but you can go ahead and introduce yourself, Kenisha.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kenisha Shulman. I am a third-year student studying sociology and economics. And regarding ethnicity, I identify as Haitian, but through education and through learning more about my culture, I'm able to identify as an Afro-Latina.
We're going to go ahead and start.
Yes.
So what is an Afro-Latino? The term is used by people with significant or mainly African ancestry who are from a Latin American country. In the 15th and 16th centuries, many people of African origin were brought to the Americas by the Spanish and Portuguese. And a fun fact is that the Caribbean and Latin America received 95% of the Africans arriving in the Americas, with only 5% going to Northern America. So that was the US and Canada. So more slaves were actually brought to the Caribbean and Latin America than to the US. So that's a fun fact that not too many people know about.
And then on the side, we have some famous Afro-Latinx celebrities, and we have Amora La Negra. If you were here before, you heard some for music, and we have
Jarrell. He was in the Where They See Us Now Netflix film of Part 5. So he's also the first Afro-Latino to win an Emmy Award.
Yes. So some facts about the Afro-Latino Student Association. This was actually established in 2017 to serve as a space to empower and create visibility for Afro-Latinos at FSU. And our motto is, as an Afro-Latinx organization, we spread information about our rich Afro-Latinx culture that runs deep in our roots. We strive to educate our community about what it means to be Afro-Latinx and to embrace our culture. ALSA plans on uniting and fostering relationships through social and service activities, and we are committed to building a safe space on FSU campus to give Afro-Latinx a sense of identity. This organization welcomes anyone who is interested in learning more about our diverse culture and history. So for the upcoming school year, we do plan on engaging this for FSU communities through holding GBMs that are going to provide an educational component but still serve as a space for people to connect and socialize. And then we really want to emphasize on giving back to the community and doing community service project at least twice a month.
Right. So how to get involved? Follow our social media pages to stay connected. It is FSU ALSA on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you. Does anybody have questions that they want us to answer in the chat?
I just have a question. If you could, this is just for my own also education. I noticed that we have Latino and Latinx.
Right.
Explain maybe some of the word choices and the history behind this.
Yeah, so it's so funny. Me and Kenisha were talking about that yesterday. So a Hispanic is someone from a Latin American country, correct, Kenisha?
Yes.
And then a Latinx, someone is a Latinx or a Latino. Latinx is actually used to be more inclusive, so it represents both Latinos and Latinas. But a Latin person, a Latin person is someone from the Caribbean. So that's the difference between a Hispanic and a Latino. But Latinx is really just to be more inclusive and represents both male and female.
And all other genders.
Right.
No, thank you. And do y'all have any plans to host virtual events this summer?
Yeah, so I actually want to make sure that we have a virtual week during the summer. The plan was to do care summer, because that's really who we're trying to target is the care students. But we're going to do a virtual week, and it's all going to be virtual. Maybe I want to say the first week of July. That's where we're aiming to have that week be held.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you
for having us
today. Do you want to introduce what Chef Jessie will be cooking for us?
Yes, so today Chef Jessie is going to be cooking a very popular dish, mango. It's popular around in Dominican Republic, but it's also a popular dish that a lot of Latinos eat. But the twist that we're gonna add today is that it's gonna have sofrito in it. So it's gonna be a Colombian twist, the dish that he's gonna be cooking today.
Awesome, thank you so much. We will send it over to you, Chef Jesse.
All right, hey everybody, welcome back to International Coffee Hour. I'm here back in the Glow Kitchen and very happy about it. And Kevin, we've got Kevin Galatero on the camera today, so Laurie gets a little bit of a break. All right, so today I'm going to feature Cayeye. It is a mashed plantain dish from the northern region of Colombia, so the coastal region there. And from what I can tell, this dish is really specific to that area in Colombia. It's not really widespread in Colombia. There's not a lot that I could really find out about it online. A few things for sure, but it's not a very written about dish. But as Daviana was saying, this is a widespread kind of dish throughout the whole Caribbean and Latin American region. It's a mashed plantain, which in Dominican Republic, that is called mango. And then in Puerto Rico, there's a version of this. It's, what is it called? It's called mofongo, and it's a little bit different. There's all these different variations. And then in Cuba, it's called fufu de plátano. And so in those other countries, the mango in Dominican Republic is very popular. And it's a breakfast dish with fried salami, fried cheese, and then it gets this pickled onion topping. And the mashed plantain is pretty plain, but it gets butter. And there's these special techniques where you can add some ice to it as you're mashing it, and it keeps it extra soft. So this one from Colombia is really interesting to me, and I'm excited that it incorporates some vegetables. And so the vegetables that it does incorporate, Kevin, if you want to come down here, we've got the 3 plantains here. There's 3 basic components to this dish. There's the plantains are the base, and then we've got our vegetable base, which is known as a sofrito, or in Colombia, it's known as hogao. And we've got green onion, tomato, garlic is the base of that. You can also add a little cumin. You can also add a little like spice mix with a achiote seasoning in it. This is the easiest thing to get. Or traditionally, you can use achiote seeds, or they're also called annatto seeds. It's from a tree. And you infuse them into an oil, and it becomes this red oil, and you cook the plantain, or sorry, you cook your hogao with the oil, and it gives it this kind of earthy, interesting flavor that's not very strong, but it gives it a really nice, bright, orangish red kind of color. And so today we're going to use the annatto oil, but if you can't make the annatto oil, you can use this kind of blend like this, or you can get ground achiote seed too. And then, so there's the base, the plantains, the sofrito that's mixed into the plantains, and then you have toppings. And so toppings can vary widely. You can have fried eggs, which we have today. We're gonna have some avocado today. You can do a little cilantro. And then we also have some cheese. And it seems like the cheese is definitely a big part of this. I've got queso blanco, but in northern Colombia, they have a cheese called queso costeño, which they use. And it is a very kind of fresh white cheese. It's pretty soft and salty. It shreds really easily. And so we're gonna shred some fresh for y'all today. So it melts right on top. All right, so first things first, we gotta deal with these plantains. And these can be a little bit tricky. You wanna get nice, green, firm plantains. They shouldn't be very flexible. You can add 1 ripe plantain to this if you like, and it'll kind of give it more of a bit of a sweetness to it. Okay, you want to have a small knife when you're working with this, and you just want to cut along the ridge of the plantain, and you're going to cut along each ridge. Okay. This does take a little bit of practice. Because the skin really does want to stick to the green plantain. And so then you're going to take the top of the knife, you're going to cut that way, and you're going to pull it up. and then pull it back. And there we go. This one's coming off pretty easy. I struggled with some earlier quite a bit. One tip I'd heard to get the skins off if you have to do a lot of these is to soak them in hot water. Doesn't have to be boiling, but just nice hot water out of your top whole plantain, and then it will come off the skin a lot easier. But that one wasn't too bad. And then we're just going to cut it in chunks. You're going to get a good amount of boiling water going. And I've got some done over here. Kind of like if you're boiling potatoes. And you're going to boil them for about 10 minutes. I'm going to keep those hot right now and move on to our sauce. We're going to go onto a medium heat. Oh, yeah. Working with fire here. I'm not used to this anymore. Woo. All right, so we've got the garlic, couple cloves of garlic minced, 2 tomatoes chopped. These can be pretty rough chopped. They don't have to be perfect. And we got 6 green onions. We're going to put a couple tablespoons of the annatto oil. Keep the seeds out of there. Usually you probably want to strain these. Let's do a good amount. We're going to do about 3 tablespoons really. Get some good color in there. Okay. All right, as this starts to heat up, we're going to add our garlic. At this point, you could add, if you're using cumin, which is optional, you could put a little bit of cumin in. We're going to let that garlic cook up there. We don't want the garlic to be turning dark brown or burning. That really gives it a really acrid taste. Garlic, when it burns, is terrible. So be careful your heat's not too high and your garlic does not get burned. It is okay to toast it a little bit. Okay. We're going to do the green onions. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. So yeah, this whole gal, and there's many versions of this too. Some people put yellow onions and green onions. Some people put cilantro. I think it kind of depends on the dish. And for this one, I just wanted it to be very simple: green onion, tomato, garlic, and nacho. And same as sofritos. Sofritos, there's many different varieties depending on the country or region or dish that you're preparing. And this is a very common base for all types of dishes. All right, so we're going to go next with the tomatoes. I'm going to turn this up on high. So now I'm going to add about a teaspoon or so of salt. Oh, there goes my fan. That's the thing about the kitchen here. Hopefully we can get that fan on.
Hi, Jesse. Your sound is a little bit muffled. Could you repeat what you just said?
Let me grab a lid for this and I'll try to get the fan on. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm going to turn this down. I want these tomatoes and onions to stew.
Hey, Jesse.
Yeah.
Your sound is a little bit muffled. Maybe Kevin, could you move the camera around a little bit so we could hear better?
We got the fan going on. We'll turn it off. Hold on.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we have an industrial hood here, and so when this our stove is on, sometimes the fan will automatically turn on. So I'm going to put a lid on this and let it cook, and hopefully we can get the fan to turn on. All right, we're going to let that sit. We're going to turn it down low. Let's see if we can turn that on. All right, all right. I think we might have got it. All right, so we're going to let that chill over here while we move on to cutting the avocado. All right, so I know avocados can be a little tricky for some people. I've heard of a thing called an avocado scar where people are cutting it and they just slash their hand, you know? So I'm gonna show you all how I cut an avocado. It's pretty straightforward. I like a big knife. And I'm gonna keep it on the cutting board. I'm gonna roll it. Okay, so one half comes off, the other half, we've still got the seed we've got to get out of here. So I stick my knife into it and twist it, okay? And then from here, we can just keep the avocado seed right off to the side there. And then, I really like to peel the avocado. If your avocado is appropriately ripe, you should be able to peel it pretty easily. And then from there, you can slice it or dice it or do whatever you need to do with it for whatever dish you're working on. All right. All right, so our avocado is ready. I've got a couple of tablespoons of butter. It's pretty soft, it's room temperature in this bowl. And we're gonna pull out our hot plantain. I've got a masher. All right, here we go. So this is a breakfast dish in Colombia, but I could see where this would be a great kind of starch for all types of meals, for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, honestly. But this kind of thing would definitely give you a lot of nutrition early in the morning. It's really quick to make. And
How many plantains is that?
oh, this was 3. So this was 3 plantains. But this is the recipe that posted. And so it's got that couple tablespoons of butter in there. We're just gonna mash them. And so in the Dominican Republic, mango, you mash the plantains with butter, and you can add ice or ice water, and then evaporated milk. And then this one, we're just gonna do butter, and then the other liquid will be the liquid from the vegetables. Because mashed plantains by themselves are pretty dry. Mofongo in Puerto Rico is just the plantains that are boiled, mashed, and then chicharron or like a salted pork is added to it, and it's formed into a ball. And it's kind of a pretty dry ball, and so they serve it with a chicken broth soup. So you kind of have a brothy soup with the plantain and the chicharron. That seemed like a great way to eat it. I think I saw there's various versions in Cuba, but some of them, they're just very fatty. Like you use bacon and they pour a bunch of bacon grease, and it's a kind of like a large semicircle kind of dip that everybody gets into and eats it that way. There we go, some good mashed plantains there. Hopefully our fans will turn back on. It's going to burn my hands. But that'll be good. All right. So let's add a minute to cook. This should probably cook down a little bit more. Let's go ahead and add these plantains in there. And we're going to mash them all together with the vegetables. definitely want a big skillet to cook this in. If you're going to make this large of a batch, I'll definitely have at least a 12-inch. I guess at least a 10-inch skillet, preferably a 12-inch one. Other toppings other than eggs, you could put fried fish. You could put grilled fish. Things like all types of seafood, like shrimp, and like some kind of sauce or broth, something spicy. Could be really good. All right, there we go. So now we've got all our ingredients mixed in with the plantain. And it's looking nice and pretty soft. It's not runny, but it is kind of moving out as it rests there. So I'm gonna grab a nice spoonful. There we go. That's our base for the dish here. We're gonna do a little cheese. I couldn't find any of the queso costeño in town, but I'm not sure how exported that cheese is. But this is a good substitute. Good amount of cheese here. And then actually, let's grab a fried egg. Yeah. And then some avocado on top here. All right. There you go. And then I think some cilantro would be great with this. And also, it didn't say anywhere online about it, but I would definitely like a squeeze of lime or some kind of squeeze of citrus. Delicious as well. Does anybody have any questions? Michelle?
We are mostly just getting a lot of that looks really delicious, and I think you have inspired a lot of people.
Yeah, the plantains, you can find all this stuff at Publix, and the plantains, I bought them, they were 3 for $1 the other day, so it's, you know, it's a great deal. The green plantains, you can put them in your fridge, they'll stay good for quite a while and stay green. And you can really be creative too. You can mix different seasonings into it. You can do different toppings. You can have it for breakfast, you can have it for dinner. It's just really quick to make and really hearty. So I hope everybody, you know, gives it a shot. And you look up different versions too. Mango is delicious, and that's really fun with the salami and the pickled onions on top. Most delicious dish. So kind of a classic of the Caribbean, mashed plantain in many different forms. So yeah, thanks for tuning in today, and hope to see everybody next week. Turn it back to you, Michelle.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jesse. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.